Hey, welcome to Badass Body Confidence Part 2. What I'm hearing from you is that body confidence, or I guess a lack thereof, is holding you back in life. It is keeping you from going after the things you want, whether it's your job, your career, buying cute outfits, just generally having fun. Hi, Margaret. How are you? Hey, Riley. So fun to see people that I know here. So anyway, I have been noticing that this is an issue for many of you. And that's why I had to tackle it head on. So Sunday nights at 7 p.m., I do these, they're basically live group coaching sessions, and I'm having so much fun with it. So last week we talked about part 1 of Badass Body Confidence, and tonight's going to be part 2. We're actually going to dive a little deeper. And I like to call it, I guess I should maybe turn this music down, but anyway, sorry, Ava Max, we're going to turn you, we're going to stop this for now. Much as we love you, I love Ava Max. I feel like she's my spirit animal these days. Speaking of animals, Tyson is here just licking me like crazy, making me, just driving me nuts. Anyway, more people are joining, and I will scroll back later. If you have questions, feel free to drop them. I will possibly answer them as I go, but I'll definitely open it up for Q&A at the end. I did actually get a few questions ahead of time that I do plan to answer at the end. So when I talk about badass body confidence, this is the kind of body confidence that just spills over and affects every single thing that you do. And this dog licking me is making me crazy. Excuse me one second. Okay, I'm actually wearing these really cute PJs because I like doing these Sunday Night Lives in my PJs, because after this, like, I'm ready to go to bed. You know, it's Sunday night. But I'm putting this robe on so Tyson stops licking me. So I look at badass body confidence as the type of body confidence that really affects everything you do. It just spills over. People notice you when you walk into the room. And that's what I want you to have. So I'm going to wait just another minute or two for people to hop on. If you want to grab something to write with, something to write on and with, like a tab, whether you're digital or like I'm typically a pen and paper girl, although I do have my laptop here with me right now with some notes that I prepared so I stay on topic. And thank you so much for the hearts. If you want to grab, I am double fisted tonight. I have a glass of wine. It's organic Chardonnay and my Pellegrino. I am a huge mineral water fan, and I always like to mix it up, but Pellegrino is one of my favorites. So I'll put these down for a minute, and we're just going to dive right in and get started. If anybody joins late, this will be saved in my feed, and you can always go back to it. So I'll real quick introduce myself if you are new here. I am Elizabeth. I'm 54 years old. I'm a double certified health coach, blogger, social media influencer. I am here to show you what is possible. Oh my gosh, thank you so much, Margaret. I feel kind of glowy today. I've been eating a lot of like sardines and fatty fish and stuff, so maybe that's it. But thank you. I really believe that I am here to show you what's possible, not just with body confidence, but with life. Because I left a 25 plus year relationship. I was married for, I think, around 24 years. And when I filed for divorce, left a very comfortable financially, but unhealthy situation, and really started my life over at the age of 49. And I know I am living proof that you can create a life that you are head over heels in love with. Is it perfect? No, it's messy, it's raw, it's real, but it's beautiful, and I'm living it, and there's surprises every single day, and it's just amazing. And to me, it's not just, people talk about like wanting to get themselves back or get their lives back. To me, it's about so much more than that. Like, it's not just about getting your life back. It's about making it better. Like, I believe, like, I just want to feel like I would say like turn on, let the fuck up, and just head over heels in love with life. And I want that for you. And I feel like if you're drawn to me, if you're following me, like, you're kind of on that same path and you're wanting the same things. And I believe that's why you're here. So if body confidence is holding you back from what you want to do in life, you are in the right place right now. And I'm just going to quickly recap. Some of you I see were on here last week. Some of you were not. So I'm just going to give a quick recap from last week. And then we are going to dive right in to what we're talking about this week because we've got a lot to talk about. So I believe that there are two types of body confidence. And some women have one of these types, some have the other. There's a lot of women out there that don't have any. And but I believe that if you have both, that's when you really have this badass body confidence that just spills over into everything and just is going to make your life better. Oops, I just dropped my laptop because this dog is driving me insane. I would put him out of the room, but then he'd just be there scratching and making me barking and whining and making us crazy one way or the other. So let me tell you about these two types of body confidence. The first one is confidence in how your body looks. And I realize that's what most people think about when they're thinking about body confidence. And that is good. That's important. I want to feel good about how my body looks. I want you to feel good about how your body looks. And in our session last week, I gave some tips that can work honestly immediately, that will give you an immediate change in that type of body confidence. If you missed that, go back and watch it. I'm not going to repeat everything here because I want to move on and give you some new information. The second type of body confidence is confidence in what your body can do. And that's like the secret sauce. So if you have both types, if you feel good about how your body looks, and it's not about having a perfect body, but if you feel good about how your body looks, and then you have that confidence in what your body can do, that's just amazing. Amazing, amazing, amazing. So again, last week I gave some tips on improving both types of body confidence. And last week I gave a challenge that will improve both types of body confidence. And for those of you that have been doing it and I've been hearing from you, it's been amazing and you're really seeing a difference. So it was a 3-part challenge, but you can do this in 3 to 5 minutes a day. I'm repeating it now because if you've been doing it, I would encourage you to keep doing it. And it's not too late to start tonight or tomorrow morning. So here's what you do. Every day, set the stopwatch on your phone and hold a plank for as long as you can. And you are going to see hey Zach, you're going to see your body confidence increasing day by day because you're going to actually see yourself getting stronger. Tyson, you are about to be forced to leave the room because I'm getting really warm. This dog is driving me insane. So anyway, hold a plank every day, time it with a stopwatch on your phone. I loved how many of you were sending me screenshots. It was just amazing. It made my day. You're going to see yourself getting stronger literally day by day. This is going to increase both types of body confidence. So that's the first part of the challenge that I gave out last week. Second part was every day before you leave for the day or just kind of when you're dressed, ready to start your day, look at yourself in the mirror. You're going to kind of roll your shoulders back so you're standing up straight and tall. I like to picture a string like on top of my head, kind of pulling myself up. And you're going to smile. And just that change in posture is going to give you a boost in confidence. And there is science behind this. And then the third part of the challenge was to repeat an affirmation daily that makes you feel good about your body. And I gave out a bunch of suggestions. A lot of you guys were using my favorite overall affirmation, which is I'm rich as fuck, hot as hell, and living life beyond my wildest dreams. That's not just about body confidence, it's about everything, but it's just a good one. So that was the challenge. And I I know I got great feedback from those of you that were doing it. A few of you made modifications, if like, and did something other than a plank, whatever. The important point is you're getting stronger, you're carrying yourself differently, and you're doing that subconscious reprogramming. You're doing a little bit of everything. What's that, Zach? My picture is crooked like my phone? My tripod's a mess. Is that better? Is that better, Zach? Thank you for telling me. Okay, this dog is about to be like kicked out for good. So anyway, that's a recap from last week. Tonight, as I said, we are going to dive a little deeper. And we're going to talk about some of the stories that we've been told, or stories that we're telling ourselves that are affecting our body confidence. And there's a lot of them. And I'm going to throw out a few examples. I'm curious if, might hear, certainly if you guys have any, let me know in the comments and we'll talk about them. And then we're going to talk about what to do about these stories and kind of how to do some reprogramming. So, a big one that we all, I think, is just kind of ingrained in us is just like everything goes downhill as you get older, which, I think is complete bullshit. Again, this applies to the women. You lose your body after having a baby. And I actually had a doctor tell me this. And I kid you, now Tyson is sniffing my wine. This is like a disaster. This dog is just a disaster waiting to happen. Technically, he's not even my dog. Anyway, I actually had a doctor tell me this. Quick story, I had a physical before I got pregnant for the first time, just, wanted to make sure I'm in overall good health. I felt good, but I was like, went to my, general physician, your regular doctor, whatever why is the name escaping me right now, for a physical, who is no longer my doctor and was no longer after that, for a physical. And I was like, yeah, because I want to get pregnant in the next year or two. Just want to make sure everything's good. And he's like, maybe being a little too touchy to start with, but he's like, just so you know, this is all going to change. Like, you're not going to still look like this after you have kids. And I was like, why the fuck not? Like, why would you tell somebody that at the age of 29? I looked at it as a challenge. I was like, oh, I'm going to show you. But anyway, like why, no, that doesn't need to be the truth. Another is, just even when people say, oh, you look good for your age, like, what's that supposed to mean? My sister and I were talking about this last night when I was over at her house, like, daughters steal your looks. Like, I don't know what that means. Another story we're told a lot is like, oh, this runs in the family. And that could be anything like weight gain, fat ankles. Anything, like, you name it. It's, you hear these stories. A lot of times women hear these stories, are like, oh, well, all the women in our family just put on a lot of weight after they have kids, or, different things like that. A story I used to tell myself all the time is, oh, well, I'm not athletic. Like, I can't do that. I'm not athletic. And that was a story I heard kind of when I was younger, and later in life proved myself wrong. So, and there's all types of stories. A friend of mine, I'll never forget, this was years ago. Tyson, you're getting down. A friend of mine this was years ago. She's in her mid-50s now. She was turning 40, and I was a few years younger than her. And she said, in amazing, amazing shape. This girl is gorgeous, in amazing physical shape. And she was talking about cleaning out her closet. And she's like, well, yeah, I'm going to get rid of all the short shorts and all that stuff, now that I'm turning 40. And I was like, what the fuck does that have to do with it? Like, what, there's some clock that starts ticking and suddenly you have to get rid of certain clothes because you're 40 or, 50 or 30 or whatever? I was like, I don't even understand. I didn't say anything to her. I was just like, now I would say something. I was just kind of dumbfounded. Like, why do you have to change out your wardrobe when you turn 40? I don't understand that. I remember shopping with, it was the mom of one of my daughter's friends. I think we were picking the girls up somewhere. We're at a mall and shopping. And I wandered into a store. And she said, and was just picking stuff up and looking at it. And she said, oh, we're too old for this stuff. And I very politely, I was tempted to say something not very nice. In my head, I was just thinking, you speak for yourself. Like, this is where I'm shopping. I remember another story, like being at a soccer game, and back when my daughter was in high school, and one of the moms who was younger than I was getting up out of her, folding chair and saying, and again, young, this is an attractive, like fit looking woman. She gets out of the chair and she says, oh, I'm all stiff. Well, this happens at our age. And I was thinking again, like, well, speak for yourself. I felt pretty good. So these things don't have to happen. There's stories that we're told and we buy into them, and then we look for evidence to support this stuff. So I've been super fortunate, I have to say. I think that I was not programmed with as many of those stories. First of all, is this resonating with you guys? Like, and I think it's more for the women than the men watching. I don't know what stories you men are told, but like, are you guys hearing some of these? Do you remember hearing some of these stories, or have you heard these stories? Do you tell yourselves these stories? I've been super fortunate that, and I know my sister would tell you the same thing. We were blessed with grandmothers that had, I guess we're kind of badasses. So our one grandmother lived to almost 105, and she just didn't listen to people. So she kept herself very active. So she was still like cutting the grass with literally like a push lawnmower. It didn't even have a motor, like one of those old school things when she was like in her 80s. When she was 90, she had a pain in her knee, and the doctor told her that it was arthritis. And she was like, no, it's not. That's for old people. So she just didn't listen. Like, she never thought she was old. And as a result, she really wasn't. I mean, she was going strong into her 90s. And in fact, when she finally did go into a nursing home, because she was finally at the age of 101, having trouble going up and down the several flights of steps in her 3-story row home. And I went to visit her in the nursing home, and she was really mad about like who had made the decision, like why she was in there in the first place. And she was like still, pissed off about this. So, and then my other grandmother was turning cartwheels at the age of 70. So I'm very fortunate and blessed that I've had these very positive examples, and I feel like I have not, maybe that made me a little bit more immune to some of the stories. Actually, my own mother, my mom is 86, my dad's 85, and yesterday on my way to my sister's house, I stopped by their house unannounced. I live on a 70-acre farm, and they were outside. They didn't know I was coming. They're outside. My dad's in a tractor. My mom has like a shovel. And I pull up in my car, I get in, I'm like, what are you doing, Mom? And she's like, oh, I'm filling holes. I was like, I don't know what holes need to be filled. I was like, okay, whatever. But the point is, she's not listening to anybody like, well, you're 86 and you should slow down. So I would just encourage you, if you are struggling with body confidence, first of all, I would say go back and watch last week, because it was good. It was really good. But next, I'd ask yourself to really examine, what stories were you told as a child about your body, about how you'd age, about how things worked? What stories are you hearing now from people around you? And what stories are you telling yourself? Like, what stories are you telling yourself? And what I have noticed is with some people, there was a woman I worked with, this was, my gosh, probably a year ago. And literally, as soon as she identified those stories, there was an immediate shift. Like, that was all she needed to do, was identify them. And she was like, oh my gosh, like, this isn't true. And she was, it really made a shift for her and changed a lot of things. Sometimes you need to dive a little deeper. So what I recommend doing is, thinking about these stories, asking yourself. So think about these stories and first identify what they are. What have you been told, or what are you telling yourself? And you're just telling yourself things shift and go downhill as you get older. No, they really don't have to. They can get better. They really can. In fact, I told a story in the last Sunday session about how when I was in college, I just always told myself the story that you had to work really hard to look good and be in shape. And I was working out. I would say I definitely had that first type of body confidence. I felt good about how my body looked, but I was very hard on it. So I was working out sometimes 3 times a day. I would go to the gym for an hour. I would walk for an hour. And then several nights a week, I would go to the pool, the indoor pool at school, and swim laps, like sometimes with a kickboard, just working my legs for up to an hour. That's, hey, Maddie, which is just ridiculous. So all these decades later, I spend way less time working out. And I actually, hey, Sandy, I actually feel better about my body. My body confidence is better, and that's because I have both of these types of body confidence that I've been talking about. So again, if you want to, and for those of you who are just joining, there's some good information here, and this will be saved in my feed, so you can go back to the beginning and watch it. We're talking about, this is part 2 of Badass Body Confidence. So we're talking tonight really about the stories that we've been told or that we're telling ourselves that are holding us back. So again, I'd ask you, what I would ask you to do is to, first look at these stories, like examine them. Like, are you, what are the stories? It could be as simple as things go downhill as you get older. It could be, everyone in our family gains weight after having kids. You just can't do as much. You're going to be stiff. You're going to be sore. You have to take it easy. All these things. It's all bullshit. But so identify what these stories are. And as I said, I've known, it's one woman I worked with a year ago who literally, as soon as she identified the stories, that's all she needed to do. And she was like, oh my gosh, like mind blown. Most people have to go a little deeper. So just identifying them as huge, write them down, and then ask yourself, is this even true? And, because if you've been told this is true, your brain, the reticular activating system in your brain looks for reasons to prove that it's true. So if you've been told, every woman gains weight after having a baby, you're going to look at all the people that this happened to, and that's going to be your proof. And you say, oh, absolutely. What about looking for proof that a story isn't true? So you just look for examples like, oh, wait, no, this isn't true. That's not actually the case. So you look for that evidence. And then what I like to do, and if you've followed me for a while, you know that I am big on positive affirmations. So I would create an affirmation that reminds you that this story isn't true. So just one of the general ones we've been talking about a lot tonight have to do with, it's harder to stay in shape as you're getting older, everything goes downhill. So if you look at that, realize it's just a story. Look for examples of why it's not true. There's certainly plenty of celebrity examples out there, but look for people in your life that this is not the case for, that things just keep getting better. And then, so look for that evidence, and then create an affirmation to just help cement this into your brain. I mean, it could be something like, I am aging in reverse. I think that's a good one. I like to say that to myself. I just keep getting better. My body's getting stronger, more beautiful every day. So, something that's working for you. And then I've talked a lot about affirmations in my posts and other lives, but there's so many different ways you can use them. Saying them out loud, it's really powerful if you're looking in the mirror and saying them. Writing them down. I love to program them into my phone as an alarm. So there's all different things you can do. Just think them in your head as you're driving, going about your day. So your challenge this week, first of all, I'm encouraging you to continue with the challenge from last week, and I explained it again earlier in this video. Continue with the challenge from last week, because I am hearing from so many of you how well that's working, and it just makes me so happy. Getting those DMs, getting pictures, like screenshots of your plank time, hearing your affirmations, like it just is amazing. This stuff works. And that little challenge that I gave last week takes 3 to 5 minutes a day tops. That's all that takes. And you're changing your body and you're changing your mind. So your challenge for this week goes a little deeper. Probably going to want to get out a pen and paper. But identify, like really look back and identify a story that's holding you back. So that's the first step. Identify a story that's holding you back. Just identifying it is so powerful. Think about, where did this story actually come from? And then ask yourself, is this story actually true? And guess what? It's not. It's not true. It's a story. So I'm just telling you now, the story you're telling yourself isn't true. So what you need to do then is look for evidence that it's not true. Look for evidence. So, if the story is you lose your body after you have a baby, okay, where did that story come from? Well, maybe you're told that by your mom, by your friends, by your doctor, as I was. Figure out where it came from. Ask yourself, is this true? Does this have to be true for me? And absolutely no, it does not have to be true for you. It's a story. So then look for evidence that this isn't true. Look for examples. Look for evidence. And then create an affirmation to help you reprogram your brain. So we're just going to go back, if you want to write this down. The body confidence challenge for this week. So this is part 2 of Badass Body Confidence. If you missed part 1 last week, you need to go back and watch last week's video because it was really good. But this week we're talking about the stories that we tell ourselves that are holding us back and affecting our body confidence. So your challenge for this week, it's 5 steps. They're simple steps. Step 1 is identify a story. What's that, Zach? You had another burrito and some cheesecakes. You're definitely going to need to do those planks. You better get on your planks, Zach. After burrito and some cheesecake. Yeah, I like your food pics that you post. So you're going to first identify a story that's holding you back. You're going to ask yourself, where did this story even come from? You can ask yourself, is it true? Okay, I'm dying under this ring light. Even though my dog is driving me crazy, I've got to take this robe off. I wanted to be here in my cute PJs, and Tyson kept licking me, which is disgusting. So, you're going to ask yourself, is it true? And I'm telling you right now, it's not. It's a story. So you look for examples to prove it wrong. And then create an affirmation for you that's going to help reprogram your subconscious mind. So, I took you through an example. And this is something with some of my individual, one-on-one clients where we end up going pretty deep because sometimes they know what they need to be doing, but they have so many stories that they're holding on to that are actually keeping them from doing the right things. And I've seen this happen time and time again where it's like I literally am calling them out on their bullshit. I literally am like, I'm calling you out on your bullshit story that you keep telling me because you're just painting yourself as a victim and you're not a victim. So this is what, it's just amazing how many times I've seen this with people where they're just telling themselves these stories about why they're not reaching their goals, but it's just these ridiculous stories. So I want to thank you guys for being here. A couple of things I want to go over for just investing this time in yourself because we can really change these paradigms, and I'm just like, it's exciting to do this stuff. I did get a couple questions when I ask, in the question boxes in my stories, and then I'm going to open it up if you guys have any. So one of them was, do you mind when, Justine asked, do you mind when people ask your age? And so 2 things. I use my age almost as a selling point because, again, I'm here to show you what's possible. So it's like I'm 54 and living my best life and just things keep getting better. So I'm here. I can be your example if you want. But so I use my age kind of as a selling point. So I state my age a lot because I'm like, hey, I'm 54. And, I made it through 4 rounds of cuts in the Maxim Cover Girl contest at the age of 54. Like, well, I was 53 then. But, so I'm proud of my age. But sometimes when somebody asks my age out of the blue, it's kind of like, well, why does that, like, what does that have to do with anything? But I would say overall, I don't mind because I'm proud of it. So, but I thought that was a really good question. Another question I could ask is, do I get skinny shamed? And I would say not really. I'm just a small person, but I don't consider myself skinny. I'm pretty curvy. But I have had people say stuff in the past. When I'm under stress or anxious, I tend to lose weight really quickly. And I tend to get, I don't like it, but I'll get certain areas, like I feel like I look a little bony, like especially like right up in here it'll show, which it doesn't right now because I'm not stressed. And I've had people say stuff in the past, not recently. I had a woman once at a soccer game, like say, well, I just like, are you healthy at that weight? And I was like, yeah, I'm the healthiest person I know. Like what kind of a question is that? Do I look like I'm not healthy? Because I'm small. So I wouldn't say get skinny shamed, but I have had people say stuff. Does anybody else have any questions? No? Okay. Well, it's 7:30. I don't like to go too long with these. I want to thank you guys so much for joining me. I've had some questions recently about how you can work with me and a couple different ways. I do have some digital courses in my, hey Trisha, I'm kind of winding down, but I threw out a new challenge this week. So you have to check it out. So I am not doing like long-term one-on-one coaching right now because a couple different reasons. It's just not really fitting into my schedule in the way that I'm scaling this business. Something that I am offering and that I absolutely love doing because it is so, so, so rewarding is I am offering these 90-minute deep dive intensives where we have 90 minutes one-on-one video chat and we really can dive in deep in one particular area. And thank you so much, Margaret. Margaret and I had a call earlier this week, and I was just so lit up after talking to her because she knows, like, she has so much knowledge, and that's what I find. Like, I attract people that already have a big knowledge and interest in health, and it was so amazing to work with her, and I feel like Margaret has such a great mindset and such a great attitude, and I feel like we just we got a lot done in 90 minutes, and I've been hearing back from her and just hearing such great things. So thank you so much, Margaret, because you've been equally amazing to work with. So that's what I'm offering right now, are 90-minute deep dive intensives. It's $111. There's a link in my bio. I'll post a link here. We get 90 minutes one-on-one. That is a lot of time to really go deep. And then you get a follow-up email within, I say 48 hours, but you usually get it that day, with just outlining everything so you don't have to take a lot of notes while we're talking and links to everything you need. And thank you so much. I filled in the missing bits and gave me so many ideas that are already helping me. That is amazing to hear. Thank you so much. And as I said, Margaret, you're awesome. And I just felt such a great connection with you and so willing, that's the type of person, like you're the type of person I want to work with, Margaret, is someone who is so willing and excited to make some changes and just ready to dive in. So that is so awesome. So awesome and exactly what I want to hear, what I love to hear. So if you're interested in working with me one-on-one, as I said, link in my bio. I'll attach it also to the description of this video. I absolutely love doing that. I typically do it Tuesday and Thursday afternoons. I think my online business manager set up now that actually when you sign up, you'll get a link to my calendar. I'm not techie enough to do that. But I think she just set that up this weekend. So hopefully it's working. If not, I'll just DM you and we'll set up a time because that works too, because I'm not techie at all. I also have 2 really fun digital courses right now. One of them is the Happy, Healthy, and Hot Jumpstart. That is just a 5-day program where we touch on happy, healthy, and hot. So it's mindset, nutrition, and fitness. Just little bite-sized pieces each day That's a whole lot of fun. And I also have Tell Your Inner Good Girl to Shut the Fuck Up, which is really about stopping being a people pleaser and kind of setting boundaries, and it really helps you step into who you are. That one's a lot of fun too. I'm really proud of that, actually. So if you are just joining me now, we're actually going to be signing off in a few minutes, but this will be saved in my feed. You guys are amazing. Thank you so much for joining me. If there's any last minute questions, drop them in the comment box and I will answer. And if not, I will let you guys get on with your evening. And have an amazing Sunday. Get some sleep. Hopefully you had a good, sexy self-care Sunday. And I'll be back tomorrow. Bye.